All right, we're moving on to rational square roots. We are in lesson 11.3 today. And rational numbers are numbers that terminate and repeat. Our essential question is, can you find the square roots of numbers that have rational square roots? And we're starting off with the product property of square roots, which just tells us if we have two numbers multiplied, we could go ahead and split those up. So the square root of a times b can be the square root of a times the square root of b. Meaning, the square root of 900, I could split this up to the square root of 9 and the square root of 100. And then from here, I know the square root of 9 is 3. I also know that the square root of 100 is 10. And if that's the best way for you to split it up and know that this is the square root of 30, that's wonderful. I'm sorry, the square root of 900 is 30. That's wonderful. They also give us that as the quotient property. So the quotient property kind of tells us the same thing, that if I'm dividing, I can go ahead and split those up. So notice both of these are under one radical. I can split them up into our separate radicals. Which brings us to example 3. Your math teacher made you memorize the square root of 64. So I can know that this is the square root of 64. She also made you memorize the square root of 169. The square root of 64, we know, is 8. The square root of 169 is 13. So the answer is 8 over 13. All right, so we're just going to do a couple more here. We already did the 900, but what if there's a negative in front of it? We can just keep that negative. We already know that the square root of 900 is 30. All right, and number 4 is another one as a quotient. We know the square root of 64 and the square root of 625 can be broken up. The square root of 64 is 8. Do you know the square root of 25? It's always good to remember the 25's trick, so I will go ahead and show you that, or something that ends in a 5. Let's just have a quick review. If I have something like 25 squared, remember it's going to end in a 25 because of the 5 squared. We're going to take one more than the first number and multiply. 3 times 2 is 625. So 25 squared is 625. What's 45 squared? We know it's going to end in a 25. One more than 4 is 5. So it is 2025. What about 75 squared? End in 25. One more. It would be 5625. So that's always a good trick to remember. So you can remember your perfect roots and you won't have trouble solving the square root of 625.